Hello and welcome to Not All Fire. I'm Jude Evans.
And I'm Joe Hart.
Oh, I've just suddenly realised, is it going to be recording my screen or your screen?
Who knows? What can you see on your screen? Have you got both of us on there?
No, you're very big and I'm very tiny.
Uh-oh.
So, okay, let me try and... For those of you who know us, this is obviously very normal. It's total chaos. I'm in Brentwood. Joe is in California.
Are you able to resize us so we're equal weighting on the screen? Or am I
We
always
are
going to be
now
big, you're always
equal
going to be
weighting
small?
on the screen. Yep, we are now
Oh,
equal
cool.
weighting on the screen. I have some technology ability. Joe is in California on Kirsty's laptop because his laptop isn't working, and I've not had IT for the last 10 days because it's basically my issue with systems over the last 15 years of running a business and merging things. But we're here, we're live. Well,
We
we're
are.
live
Standard
recording.
week, really.
Standard week.
Standard week.
Standard week.
Video again may or may not work, but the last 2 weeks are live on our new YouTube channel. Are now up there for views. We get subscribers and all that good stuff. This week we may or may not work with the video because, as we say, my laptop's knackered and we're both on hotel Wi-Fi for once. So we'll see. You may be watching us, you may be listening to us. Who knows? But
I'm ever hopeful for video forever now. So, but yeah,
fun,
so
isn't it? Yeah,
it is. It's 3 degrees and raining quite hard in Brentwood. Tell us about the weather in California, Joe.
The snow has just finished and now it's 32 degrees. No, it's do you know what's remarkable here is it's winter and everyone outside's wearing a jumper and my God, it's scorching. It's 32 degrees literally, and like I'm over here doing wildfire work. I'll tell you about tonight, but I mean that's the point. I'll tell you about it tonight. But what time is it for me? It's 9 o'clock in the morning. That's throwing me off as well.
5 o'clock in the evening for us here in the UK. Yeah, and that snow comment is because I was in Madrid last week and it snowed, which surprised quite a lot of the Madrid residents, I will say as well, not just us. So yeah, it was quite snowy.
Oh bloody hell! Well, what's going on in Essex then? What's the story over there at the minute?
Oh, what exciting things we had. So the building safety regulator, I mean, this is not just for Essex, this is the whole of the UK. The building safety regulator became its own independent organisation last Tuesday. Quite a random date to pick, Tuesday the 27th of January. I'm not quite sure the relevance of that date, but that's what it is. So it's now independent from the HSE. It's going to be an arm's length. Let's get the exact terminology up, because I keep wanting to call it an arm's length management organisation, which is obviously what we'd have for a normal local authority. But it's going to be an arm's length body under the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government, representing a significant moment for the built environment. So, been around it's been around since 2021 now. That's like 5 years.
Yeah, I suppose it has. Yeah,
it's quite a thing. So they now are separate from the HSE. They're reporting directly to government, and I mean, it does feel like they're trying to change and improve and speed up the processes. They're allowing people to. It's not just a single gateway. Not just do single gateway applications anymore. You can split it, which is quite nice. We've done that with one of our clients. They're splitting it into sort of 3 separate packages, which is quite nice because some of it's like really easy work and doesn't really need too much taxing thought.
Yeah.
And some of it's really quite complicated. So yeah, it's that in some ways that's quite nice. It's been a week.
It has. Yeah.
So we don't really know anything yet. It's too early to say.
They've had a rebrand. You seen that new logo?
I did see some comments about the rebranded logo, which did make me chuckle.
I think people saw the comments before they saw the logo. That's how people learn about it, by just seeing
pretty much, yes. Yeah.
Less said about that, I suppose. They're not there to be logo creators. They're there to look after safety of buildings. That's the measure in it. See if that improves and changes. As you say, they've been this whole kind of reshuffle they've had and change has been going on the last few weeks, and there is positive movements. I say it all the time. The thing that keeps me awake at night is Planning Gateway 3. So Gateway 3 on its way, which is once buildings have been constructed or remediated, how do we sign them off and fit to occupy? That's the thing that I'm not seeing enough about yet. Assurance that when that happens, we're not going to be in the same position we're in with Gateway 2. They didn't read it properly. I've got to be honest about a load of legacy Gateway 2s that were rejected that they've just banished now and said, look, it's not going to happen. You need to go away and just redo it. And they're not now stuck in that cycle, which I thought was quite a good shift. But I might be wrong on that because I didn't read the article.
That's interesting.
I caught the first couple of lines of it. It said something like X number of Gateway 2 submissions that have been rejected have now been permanently rejected, as in, like, we're not going to engage in this consultation back and forth. You just need to go rethink, which I think, to be honest, if I were a regulator, would be my position.
Yeah,
let's
not just
that and find out what it was.
Yeah, let's not just change 4 or 5 words, or let's not just change that. You need to go away and you need to think about what you've done, and then you need to come back with a whole new proposal.
Yeah.
Whole
So
new world.
spotted that shift. We knew that was coming. I think they announced it a short while ago, didn't they? Again, I don't know the significance of the 27th of January. Perhaps we'll all come to learn what that significance is. But normally with government changes, it's
maybe it's exactly 5 years since they started or something. So
could have some significance, sure. Couldn't it?
100%.
Yeah.
The only other thing was that I was with a client down on the Brighton seafront yesterday, and we were talking about cruise ship fires, and he mentioned a case study that was from a cruise ship fire in 1998. Because we have the technology, theoretically, if I share my screen onto video, which is quite scary, especially as everybody then goes, oh, look at all those things that you have open.
You better not be one of these tab collectors where two's not bad. Some people in my team,
tabs.
They share their screen. They've got 45 tabs open. It stresses me out. So okay, 2's forgivable.
Normally I do have 10. I have just obviously had to. We're not going to get into IT issues because I will have another nervous breakdown. But I normally have about 10 open, which are things that I regularly use every day. So this is a ship called the Carnival Ecstasy, and this is a fire that was in 1998. And basically what happened was, this was a brilliant case study which changed shipping fire safety. Apart from the fact, how cool is that? You can see the compartmentation on ships works the same as compartmentation on houses, because you can absolutely see the line. And the line you see along the bottom, which if I scroll down, you can see along the bottom there, is absolutely where the base sort of waterline was.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is that this fire was caused by an iron in a laundry, and this iron is the reason now why every single iron on every single ship has a 10-minute cutout. So if you don't use it for 10 minutes, it automatically cuts out and stops producing heat. And
very good.
Because the iron that they were using didn't do this, and so then it overheated. It set that part of the building on fire, set part of the ship on fire. And I tell you what, there are some very, very amazing videos, some home videos that passengers on the ship took on YouTube of corridors filled with smoke, of alarms going off, of people going a little bit, oh my goodness, what's going on? So that's really fun. It's a really interesting, because again, I've had so many conversations with people in the last couple of weeks about places of entertainment and about, well, is anything going to get done now we've had this other fire in Switzerland? Is anything going to get? And I'm like, the problem is it's really hard because each country has got its own legislation, and changing everybody's ideas about how it works is really, really hard. Whereas for the shipping industry, you have the international shipping codes, and then they've just gone, well, no, if you've got a laundry on your ship, you have to have an iron that cuts out after 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, we always like, don't we, to find a piece of guidance and find the source of it. So why is it that we have that? There's a really clear cause and effect between, we now only have these shutoffs on irons, and it's clearly from this one incident. And it's funny you say there about the compartmentation line and how it's exactly like in buildings, because I worked on a a fleet, I suppose they're called. I don't know if it's right, of cruise ships years ago when I was working in hotels, and that was part of our remit. And designed the exact same as hotels. Someone said to me in a meeting about them, it's just a hotel. It's just a big
Yeah,
hotel
just a big
that
floating
happens to be at
hotel.
sea. And the design approach is exactly the same. It's travel distances, it's compartmentation, it's fire doors, it's all that kind of stuff. And you have assembly points on deck. And if you have to evacuate the ship, that's sort of doomsday. But regardless, that's sort of not the fire part. You just design it so that people go to their assembly point, which is on the deck of the ship, and the rest of it is code bashing, basically.
Yeah.
It's interesting work. Yeah.
I think when we were doing our masters, I think during the design part of the course, the design week, we had the guy who was the fire safety officer for the Royal Caribbean.
Oh, did we?
Because I remember
What,
going to,
as a lecturer
yeah,
speaking to
no,
us
no, no,
during the
no, no,
course?
no. It's one of the students for the week. He wasn't on part of the masters.
Oh,
He just paid for the week, because I went to dinner with them a couple of times and because we used to talk about hospitality, and
yeah.
he used to say that the number of we'd be astounded at how many fires there are on cruise ships. They're having fires all the time, but
Mm.
because you've got this compartmentation, because you've got like what we think of as the flood relief doors, the water stopping doors, are actually the
Yeah.
compartmentation doors, and so you can just pop a door closed,
Ah.
it seals it, and it's amazing.
Well, that's a scary thought if he says it happens more often than you think, because I think they probably happen quite a lot anyway. If it's even more than that, that is
Yeah,
even more scary. Yeah.
I mean, these cruise ships are massive. You see them. I've seen them down in Southampton, and I've seen them occasionally when I go over the Thames Bridge, when they're down at Tilbury, and they're like 10, 15 stories high, and it gives me the fear just thinking about how many people are on there. I'm like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't, and I know we've probably all got loads of friends who go on those kind of cruises all the time, and I'm like, I just can't. Our neighbors go on them all the time out in the Caribbean and around the Mediterranean, and I'm just like, it gives me the fear.
Yeah. Because of safety.
Oh, I don't like. Yeah, I'm not a very strong swimmer, and I don't like water, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick to land.
You see, my fear would be I'd get on a cruise ship, I look at somebody or I look at the room next door and I think, oh, I don't like you very much. And then I'm like, oh, but we're at sea for the next 2 weeks and it'd ruin the trip. There'd be somebody
There
on
is
there, or
that
there'd
as
be
well.
something.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, this group of people were literally just stuck on a pirate ship for the next 2 weeks. That'd be dreadful, which is why I could not do a cruise.
yeah,
I did do a boat
yeah.
trip the other day here, though, which was quite good fun.
Oh, little boat trips and things like that are always fun.
Yeah.
Like like bus tours of cities and boat tours of canals and places like that are always quite fun.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you go out? Did you go out to sea?
We did. We went whale watching, which was very good fun.
Oh, of course.
It
Did you
was,
see any?
this whale was absolutely mugged us off, is what happened, to be honest with you, Jude. I don't know, whale. There was this whale, and there's a guy on the roof who's kind of shouting, right, 12 o'clock, there's a whale ahead. Everyone get on deck and have a look. So he sort of said, there's a whale over there at 9 o'clock. So we went running over and wasn't. And he went, oh, he's over there now. So we went. So we got a bit bored and sat down and said, we'll just pick one area and we'll watch it in the hope, because we were running around and we were missing it all the time. And then he just sort of sat over there and he just came up and one of the guys said, oh my God, that was the holy grail. You guys are so lucky. You've all just seen a whale each, and that's the best you'll ever get.
Oh,
And of course,
wow.
we were sat on the other side of the ship looking the wrong way because
Oh,
we'd adopted
no.
this system of I'll just watch one patch and see if it happens. So we sort of saw the tail end of him. I like to think he was laughing at us as he raised his head and went back down because he knew what he was doing. Hundreds of dolphins though, they were cool. But yeah,
Oh, dolphins
nice
are
trip.
lovely. Yeah,
Yeah,
we went whale watching in Canada last June, which is too early in the season for up in the northern around Nova Scotia where we were.
yeah.
So when we go back to Nova Scotia in September, it will be seasonal. So hopefully we'll
Mm.
see some whales then. We did see lots of puffins. I like puffins; they're quite cute.
Yeah, they are. Oh, I've got a weird. Before we come on to fire, I've got a little aircrafty thing for you because I know you like that world, don't you?
Mm.
Are you familiar with the Spruce Goose, Howard
I'm
Hughes'
aware.
famous
I am
aircraft?
aware of the spruce goose.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan, I suppose, is I don't know if it's the right word, but of Howard Hughes. I've read about Howard Hughes a lot and read some autobiographies and biographies rather. And we were coming in to Long Beach on this boat, and you come in past the Queen Mary, which is like an
Oh,
old hundred-year
nice.
old boat,
Yeah, yeah.
and then there's this big dome, and they said that's the Spruce Goose Dome, and it's where the Spruce Goose flew from. You know, when Howard Hughes, after having been accused of taking the money from the US government during the Second World War, where he flew it, and it was the exact patch of water that that the Spruce Goose went from, and it's still called the Spruce Goose Dome. It's now,
wow.
as everything is here, a soundstage where they film movies, because that's just what the whole of Hollywood is now. But yeah, I thought you'd like that. I was going to send you a picture, but there was nothing to identify the fact of the Spruce Goose, which is now in a museum somewhere nearby. But yeah, little fun facts for you there.
I mean, bringing it back to fire, I will say both of us have sent each other photographs of fire extinguishers whilst being on holiday. So I drove past a shop in Madrid that had loads of old fire extinguishers, which I took a photograph and sent it to you. And then you sent me a photograph of fire extinguishers from the Fire Service Museum, one of the fire crews museums.
Oh, I'll tell you about that today as well. Tonight, today, this afternoon, whatever time it is. I'll tell you about the episode. That was good fun. Yeah.
So that's kind of what's been focusing my mind. I've been out and about heritage buildings and some lots of retrospective fire strategies. Well, I went to do a retrospective fire strategy today to find out that the contractors that had built something onto a care home had not built it very well and not got any fire safety advice before they built it, and it is now no longer compliant. So yeah, so now we have to go. Yes, we're going to have to do some work to make it compliant. And I did say to the care home owner, I was like, you do know, next time, can you just ask me first? And then we can do this before you've done all the building work, rather than doing it after all the building work. So
yeah, we've just had one today. I'm pointing over there because I've just had a call when I was sat over there. But we've had one where someone's done a load of building works, stripped a roof off, peeled the building literally from the top, and then discovered a problem. And we said, "Oh, what did building control say?" They went, "I haven't been through building control. We just cracked on." I don't know if that's getting worse, if that's a thing where there's just no advice or approvals in certain parts of the world. But
well, I feel like
I've had a similar one today.
Yeah, I feel like there may have been less than useful building control and planning. For example, when I spoke to the fire service about this said building, the fire service said they had not been aware that there was any works going on until they'd gone to say, "Oh, can we get final approval for sign off for this building?" And they went, "Oh, we didn't know anything about it." So whoever was advising the contractor didn't either go through planning or building control the right way. So oops.
Oopsie indeed.
Yeah. So, but no, I'm just all over the shop at the moment. It's quite busy.
Yeah.
Time of year, I think.
I think it is, because again, I was speaking to one of my guys about it this morning about deadlines. She went, "Oh, it's a load of deadlines at the minute. It's all really short." And I think what's happened is come back from Christmas to the longest January in the world, which is now thankfully over. But everyone's suddenly come back with that, because it was quite a long break for everyone at Christmas. You know, you only had to take 2 days annual leave. You got 2 weeks off, or 3, whatever it was. Everyone was off for quite a while. They've come back, and suddenly there's a load of deadlines. I felt it we had a really big January in my firm, which we don't normally do. Normally, we anticipate we're going to do 66 or 75% of target, 2/3 or 3/4, because it's just a quiet month. And actually, we've gone over target this year, weirdly, which we've never done in previous, because it's just a busy stretch. I've had the same. Yeah.
I think the industry is I'm in a positive way. I think people are paying more attention to fire safety now. And I think people are suddenly realizing that actually everybody wants to start doing things properly. Which I think is really, really nice.
Shift.
I've had some good conversations with construction firms recently about, oh yeah, we want to make sure we do things properly from now on. And I'm like, it's nice. We've all been telling you for 15, 20 years to do this. But it's I mean, take the small ones.
That's right. We will.
So down to business. Tell us about what's going on in that California, and are there any wildfires? I mean, in the nicest possible way. Your backdrop is quite bright and similar to my backdrop. I happen to know that there is a Hollywood sign out there. So
well, I don't know, and it's not staged. I don't know how well you can see it. If I unplug and I shift this across, let's see if we can see anything. See if it focuses itself. Oh, I don't know if it will or not, because it is very, very bright.
See the hills. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's the Hollywood sign in the distance. Look at you.
Oh, very nice.
Flash
well, it's
boy.
Not a flex, because well, you can see it everywhere. But I want to show you that area, and I'll tell you about that in a second. Because hills. Can you see the hills?
I see the hills with the houses on top. Yep.
Beautiful. I want to tell you about those hills if I can. Right. So
Oh, it looks a lovely morning over there. Oh, now it's
it
not
is.
too bad. At the moment, you did look like you had beautiful blue sky behind you, and it's gone.
Yeah.
The camera's gone back to screaming white, but it's fine. We saw some. We know
Not,
you're there.
I'm not on my own laptop, so I don't know how it works. Don't know what these settings are. Anyways,
Well
so
done
I'm
for not
in.
breaking Kirsty's laptop. He's
Yeah,
very
not yet.
very concerned.
I do suspect if this becomes a video episode, it's going to have my name as Kirsty down in the bottom left, isn't it, on the little cursor?
Yep,
So
yep.
I have to adopt
Hilarious.
that for this week. Set up an IMDb page. No, so I'm in Los Angeles this week. It's a scheduled trip. You remember last year I came because there was a wildfire, so I kind of deployed with no notice. This year it was planned. So I'm
Oh yeah,
here
because
kind
you
of.
didn't go to Belfast because it snowed, didn't you?
Yeah, yes, no. Oh, in fact, last time we spoke, I was about to get on a flight to Belfast to then fly to here. The Belfast conference didn't go ahead because there was this horrible storm. So
Yeah,
I got
I saw the post
extra.
that I saw Haley's post, and I was just like, oh, it's been cancelled. Oh no.
I drove to. I mean, this was not in any way Haley's fault. It was a genuine. They shut the university. The
Yeah,
weather was
no, it's
dreadful.
bad.
So I drove to the airport and I pulled up and I was kind of swearing at anything I could because it was Manchester Airport Bay Parking, trying to get in the bloody airport car park, Pulled over, grunted my bag out the car, got there, and thought I'll just open my phone. And I was literally walking into the terminal. I had a passport just coming out my pocket, and I checked my phone, and Haley had texted me and said, "Don't get on the flight." It was all very dramatic, and I didn't, thankfully. So I drove back home,
Goodness
got an
me.
extra night at home. But if it was an hour or two later, I'd have been in the air and I'd have been across. But yeah, no, horrible weather over there for those guys.
Wow.
So we didn't go ahead with the talk. We'll do it again in future. But then, yeah, flew across here. So I'm here doing research field work, we call it, because I'm out in the field taking samples. Further to last year's fires. So I'm investigating the Palisades and the Sunset Fire and the Eaton Fire from last year in LA. So no wildfires this year that we can see, apart from there are wildfires across California, as there always are. I'm working. The reason I'm in this area and the thing I wanted to show you. So I'm staying on Hollywood Boulevard, looking north. So that's kind of intentional because I'm looking at a place called Runyon Canyon, which is just kind of over there. And that second hill I showed you there overlooks it. And it's where the Sunset Fire happened last year. So I've been up to Runyon Canyon. So the Palisades fire was over in the Pacific Palisades, which is on the coast, kind of near Santa Monica. And if we've managed to edit this video properly, I might be able to show a map as I'm talking about this, but maybe not. So I'm just to do my hands waving around.
I mean, I would try and share a screen. Shall I try and pull up a map of California?
Yeah, if you can pull up like Palisades fire map or something. But yeah, so the Palisades fire was in the Pacific Palisades, which is over by the coast, very far west. That's where I was last year, out of Santa Monica. This year I'm here investigating that, so I'm going up there tomorrow, I think, to go and look at what is still a fire zone. And I'm writing an article whilst here about firefighting in wildfires. Today and yesterday and over the weekend, I'm here at Runyon Canyon looking at the Sunset Fire. So if we get a map, I'll be able to show you. Yeah, there we go.
So that's the Palisades. I mean, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but you can see the red. Yeah. You can see the red line from Mulholland Gateway Park down to Will Rogers State Beach. So where are you staying? You're staying in
pretty much where it says Hollywood, just right of West Hollywood there. So a bit further.
What's that?
Around that area. Yeah, perfect. So in the backdrop where you could see there, you could see the Hollywood sign just north of that area of water, which is Lake Hollywood. And then Runyon Canyon is just to the left as well.
Well, there's Laurel Canyon. I know Laurel Canyon because that's where all the music comes from.
Yeah, so that's exactly where I am. Between Laurel Canyon and Hollywood Hills there, if you zoom in, that's called Runyon Canyon.
That's Runyon Canyon Park.
After this recording.
Look at that. That's very exciting. Right? I mean, I'm going to obviously go to Bel Air because that's where the Fresh Prince is from. But there we go, Runyon Canyon Park.
Perfect. So at the moment, what's going on up there is there are 3 trails in Runyon Canyon. There's the East Trail, there's the West Trail, and there's a fire road up the middle. And again, I may be able to flash images as I'm talking about this. If not, you can find it on my kind of social media and stuff on LinkedIn. But at the moment, the West Trail is still closed because it was really heavily damaged during the fires last year. So the
I suddenly
fire
realised I was getting my
started.
east and west the wrong way. Where it's Runyon
Oh
Canyon
yeah,
flag. Is this the west? Is this the west on this side here? That
that's the
path?
West Trail. Yes, that one
Oh,
there is still closed at the moment. Okay, so we can't go up
oh
there
wow.
just now. And really heavily damaged last year during the fires. The fires generally start high up on the hills and then spread. The risk is they spread down into occupied areas. And we have what's called the wildland urban interface, the WUI or the WUI. And often the WUI is a kind of defined road or area, and it's quite small. So you say if it breaches that section, it's crossed that interface and it's now in a rural area. So it's spread into towns or into kind of villages. Now, the weird thing that happens here, and it is weird, it's unique, is that the wildland urban interface of Runyon Canyon is not a road or a small area or a small patch of land. It's that entire hill there,
Oh
which has got
wow.
about 400 homes on it. It's a place called Outpost. So
Oh.
a year ago, that entire hill just there was evacuated. All those homes were evacuated. The hotel I'm in now was
Wow.
evacuated. Yeah, because over in the
Wow.
hill there, when the Sunset Fire was happening, had it spread in this direction, there's a hazard that it would have gone, or a risk that it would have gone to all of those homes. And if I get a chance to share the photo on here, I will. If not, I might tag it on LinkedIn alongside promoting this episode. The thing with these houses is that they're built into the hillside of what was a forested hill. So they've cut down some trees to build the houses, but they're quite exclusive homes. So they're built in and amongst a forest. And when I look at it now, there's as much green as there is white or masonry, right? So the risk was it would spread to these houses. Anyway, they were all evacuated last year. What I'm doing in Runyon Canyon is I can trek the East Trail and I can trek the Fire Road. They're open and accessible. The reason the West Road, the West Trail, is not open is because it's a fire recovery zone. Because it was so badly damaged, they want to just let the earth recover for a period of months, get some rainfall up there, and not have people up there traipsing. But what I'm doing over on the east is really interesting because I'm modelling. Well, I'm actually doing a geospatial survey. So I'm getting all of the plant species. I'm taking photographs and measurements of what they are, so I can build a CFD model to look at essentially what would have happened if it had reached Runyon Canyon, spread to the East Trail, and then down into this town here, this neighborhood called Outpost. Would it have done what we expect it to do? And also to try and work out why it didn't do that. Why did the fire stop spreading? Now, there was firefighting going on. The fire road down the middle is very intentional. It's quite a wide road. And in fact, when I was up there on Saturday morning, I think we went up for a bit of a hike. A fire appliance drove up because they go up regularly. It's literally a fire access road, as well as being a fire break because it's a concrete paved road, 20-foot wide. So they did operational firefighting from there. But it would have been quite easy for an ember or a number of embers to go across, hit the East Trail, and spread down this hill. So basically, try and work out why not by working out plant species, take some samples, see what we got.
So, okay, CFD.
Yeah.
We've talked about doing CFD for buildings in the past. We've talked about doing how easy it is to do a CFD model because you've got walls, you've got a roof, you've got a floor, you can work out what they're made of, you can identify what they're painted with, you can work out what combustible materials are contained within a room. When it comes to doing a CFD model in air, does it become more like a meteorological model in the fact that you're looking at wind, you're looking at kind of natural factors rather than just a standard building?
Yeah, that's a bloody great question, to be fair. I'm going to try and draw something to answer it.
Thank you very much.
It's a rare
It's
good
almost
question.
like we've been doing
joking.
a podcast for 18 months.
I don't know if I can find a pen. Have we got a pen lying around that you can throw across?
And this is how Joe loses an eye.
So I'm going to draw this again. If the video one doesn't work, I'll share the image of it. But no, you're right, because the way CFD works is we have something we want to model. So we want to model this circle and see what happens when it's on fire. And the way we do that is we break up our kind of our universe we're creating for the CFD into a grid pattern.
Yep.
And if we have, let's say that this, in fact, I'll sketch this. Didn't know this is live. It might be chaotic and messy, but it'll work. If we number each of those grids, which might be backwards on the video, who knows?
No,
1,
it's
2, 3,
the
4,
right
5.
for me.
Okay.
It is the right way around. But yes,
There we go. This is good going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And we number each of these cells. And I was reviewing a CFD with 2 of my guys yesterday, and we're 3.5 million cells for this one project. So this is big. And imagine it's in 3D, of course. So you've got big cubes. Basically, the way CFD works is, and there's a sentence nobody wants to ever have to finish. Oh, that's the start of a horrible monologue.
To take Joe's expression, strap in, guys.
Strap in, everyone. Essentially, the results of cell number 1 influence cell number 2, and the results of cell number 2 influence cell number 3. And when you do CFD modeling, it's a series of calculations just done iteratively over and over and over again. And what it's doing is per time step. So if we had, for example, in the little scenario I've drawn here, a fire in cell 1, we'd work out loads of calculations. We work out the temperature, the radiative heat flux, the use the Navier-Stokes equations to work out fluid flow, a number of things. And then based on the results of the calculations we get for cell 1, cell 2 starts its calculations. And then based off those results, cell 3 does its calculations, etc., which is why it takes so long and is so expensive, because computationally, you're solving thousands of equations every second for a long duration, like weeks. So back to what we're doing here. Is it more like a meteorological study? Yes, it is, because we have to have loads more cells, because I'm not just interested in what's happening at my fire source, which is a tree at the base of Runyon Canyon. I need to take account of the Santa Ana winds, which start 100 miles away.
I was going to
So
say,
my domain
it's all of a sudden your scope is huge, but that you've got to consider, because you could have wind coming from all directions.
Yeah, absolutely. So my grids, my series of cells, imagine now that this isn't a circle on a pad, viewed from above, that's a mountain. Looking from above, I need to have that. And I also need to have it going up to 100 foot above ground floor level. I need to model the mountain in 3D. I need to consider wind coming in, firefight, loads of stuff. So yes, it is complex. And what I'm here doing this week, because all of that I know and understand already because I can read it in a book. But the thing I don't know yet is, what's that mountain made out of? So what plant species do I have in each different area of the mountains of Runyon Canyon? Because what I discovered, again, I was up there on Saturday. Today's Tuesday or whatever it is. So I was up there on Saturday and I was walking along and I was going, okay, there's lots of black mustard plants is one of the key grasses you get up here, right? And a black mustard plant has nice bright yellow flowers, really common. It's invasive in California. It's not native, but regardless, you see it all across Runyon Canyon. But that's because at the moment it's alive. But in the summer, when it's hotter, plants die and they dry out. And then they suddenly become a huge fuel source. So that whole sheet of black mustard plants with the lovely yellow flowers that look nice on Instagram and everyone stops and poses for a photo becomes this huge fuel bed in a couple of months' time when it gets a bit hotter and dies out. So it's interesting for me to know where those areas are those little pockets of higher fire load, so that I can build it into my model. And then just quickly, the converse of that is true, because I was coming down the East Trail, and I was going up the East Trail the other day as well. And I sort of noticed on the right-hand side, there was a huge patch of prickly pear cacti. And cacti plant intentionally as a fire break, because think about a cactus, they hold water, don't they?
Loads of water, yeah.
So we intentionally build them as a fire break, and they're really prevalent on the east slope of Runyon Canyon, overlooking this place called Outpost, right? So in my model, I'll build that in, and it might show that even if the fire had spread to the East Trail, it may not have spread down the eastern slope because it's full of cacti and they're water holding and they're very unlikely to form a fuel spread. So I suppose that's kind of what I'm doing here at the minute.
Yeah, I suppose even if you've got, when you're modelling it, if you've got an inch of leaf mulch because there hasn't been very much rain and it's dry, or you've got 3 inches of leaf mulch, that can make a huge difference. That it's a bit like, again, we talk about how many layers of paint you have on a wall. If you've got loads of different layers of dried material, then it's going to work really, really well.
Yeah, and there's another problem here we see really prevalently related to that, which is the problem with building on a hill is if you have a hill like that and you want to build a house on it, invariably you need a stilt. You need a structural support somewhere so your house can come out like that. Let's try and do something like this. If your house is going to have a flat plane like that on a hill, you've got this void underneath created, and that just collects debris. That just
Dust.
collects
Yeah.
leaves. And then
Leaves and
because
stuff.
it's sheltered underneath the podium of your house, it's not getting rainfall to it. It dries out. And they've now brought in something called Zone Zero in California, which is an obligation for anyone to look after a certain radius around their home, which I think
Oh
is 4 feet.
wow.
So everyone's
That's cool.
responsible, but you have to rake it out. It's a legal requirement to rake the leaf. It's cleared from wildfire or potential wildfire fuel load. So all the guys living up here in the houses, all these kind of families and whoever else is up there, they now have to go into the crawl space underneath and rake out that fuel load.
Wow.
And in fact, I've seen some already that instead of doing that, they're actually building enclosures instead of having the exposed structures so that it can't get fuel load in there. So yeah, it's an
But I
interesting.
mean, yeah, that's going to be
here.
certainly a change in the building types that you see, because we're so used to seeing those stilts because it's I suppose probably not so much in California where you don't have too much snow, but certainly in places like if you go up into the northern American states and you go into Canada, they have lots of space underneath their buildings, which is an insulating factor, don't they?
Yes, yes. Now I was thinking about this, funnily enough, because I was thinking what would be the impact of them enclosing underneath if you thought, okay, because of this new fire rule, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to board it all off and I'm going to create this little enclosed cavity. And then I was thinking about you losing ventilation to your home.
Yeah.
Because your home may have been designed with a free flow air vent underneath. An engineer and think about the built environment, how it might change.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I've been doing so far. I'm mostly at Runyon, and I'm going up there this afternoon, actually, when we've finished recording, to go and
Nice.
do some more field work. So I'm going to walk up the Fire Road and down the East Trail today, get some more
Lovely.
geospatial data. And then I think if we have time, I'm going to go to the Palisades this afternoon as well and go look at some of the areas that were damaged last year and unfortunately still are damaged. Not all of them are accessible because there's unsafe structures, but I'm writing an article for a magazine whilst I'm here about firefighting of wildfires, and we're looking, or in the article I'm hoping to write about that wildland urban interface I mentioned, but also about kind of recovery from wildfires, because that's obviously very prevalent here. So I might pop down there later.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, keeping busy.
Yeah. When do you fly back to the cold wetness of the UK?
I think I'm back next Monday, maybe. It's like a 10 or 11-day trip. This it's quite a long one. So yeah, I've got a good.
Is it Monday? I don't think it is Monday. I think it might be Sunday.
I think it's Sunday, but by the time I land, it's then mid-afternoon Monday, because you lose time going back the other way, don't you? Whereas right now, it's 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning for me.
Well, in that case, you're very much going to have to rearrange when we're doing the podcast next week, because you booked me in for midday next Monday.
Oh no, I can't do that. I'll double check. I never know when I'm flying. I know. Go where people instruct me to go. But yeah, I'm here for the rest of this week. So I've also got. Nice. I've been down to the Fire Brigade Museum. I'll tell you about today as well, very briefly. And then this week where else am I going? Runyon. Oh, Griffith Park. I'm going to go to, which it seems to have snapped back into focus again. It's
I know. I just saw it.
Then
I'm getting distracted by the blue skies of California it's dark now, but yes.
Griffith Park's over there. It's the place with the observatory. It wasn't impacted by fire, but again, with my CFD, I want to model areas to see if there's a risk in future. Up there, I'm aware, because I've been researching it a bit before I track up there. They have a lot of the plants, like the I can't remember the name of the other one, purple, and the black mustards, which is seasonal. So at the moment, it's all alive, but it drops high fire load in these. So I know there's a lot of that at Griffith, so I'm going to head up there to see.
Oh, so have they ever had a fire? Have they ever had fires up the observatory before?
Yes, they have. Yeah. One of the big hazards they have up there is actually campfires, and in fact, there's signs everywhere for that. And they close the park at the end of June until after the 4th of July, because people do lots of fireworks and campfires up there. Yeah. So there are. invariably, the time that I'm here this week, there will be an accidental fire in one of the parks. I'm certain of it, but they just don't often grow to the scales we saw. Yeah, I did. There's a fact for you on that, actually. I can give you a fact that
You like a fact?
45% of all fires attended by LA City Fire Department.
Okay, now you're going to have to say that again because it froze on 45% of all fires.
Okay. So 45% of all fires that Los Angeles City Fire Department attend are as a result of homelessness.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that a crazy number? So that's tens of thousands of fires every year.
Goodness.
And it's accidental fires that have been started by people who are trying to keep warm, and it's grown and it's got out of hand, or it's people breaking into buildings, setting a fire for warmth, and then it expands and grows. But yeah, 45%. And that's reflective probably of the homeless problem in Los Angeles as much as it is of a fire problem. But,
yeah, that's massive. Is there a massive? Is there a massive homeless? I mean, obviously you must see lots and lots of homeless people when you're driving around. Then I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's really known for it here that it's a real problem, and particularly in areas like where I am actually, where you're quite close to the hills. Where, a fire has been started for warmth, and they will come and put it out, fear that it might spread and then cause a really significant wildfire. I was trying to think about the data and think, what's the proportionality of it? And I think a lot of it is someone's had a fire, it's not grown out of control, but they come and put it out anyway because of the risk of, what we've got
spreading.
Here. So yeah, that was a big fact. I'm going to delve into that a bit more and research it, because I think a bit of research.
Yeah, I think so. I think the internet is starting to fail. So.
Uh-oh.
I know. We're starting to get it's starting to get quite bad. So I don't know whether it's at my end, as they say, or your end. But so we can make sure that we have a very nice ending to the episode. What one thing are you really happy that you've seen, having been out in California this week so far?
Apart from dolphins. It's a good question, actually. I like it. Again, I had a really good trip at the museum, which I've mentioned a couple of times. In fact, the best answer, the quickest answer, is I saw a Model T Ford that was used as a fire appliance, that was used by the volunteer service here in 1918 or something.
Oh, that's very stunning. Cool. Yeah, that's very cool.
It had been the best part of the museum for me was that there was a retired firefighter, and I walked past the kitchen and they had a big bowl of potatoes, and they run it like they're still on shift as they were years ago, because they're all still comrades from when they were at the fire station. So as I was walking around, I was chatting to them, and they were saying like, "Oh, we just come in and restore the appliances," and they had done a Model T Ford, was the most beautiful machine in the world.
Oh, that's bright fantastic!
Red,
yeah,
ladders on top, stunning.
Oh, how cool is that? Oh, nice. I look forward to seeing a photograph of that. Yes.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Well, I think the internet is starting to die a little bit, isn't it? So I think we may have to call the episode there. We're about right for time anyway.
I think so.
But I will report back next week. I think I'll be back in the UK. I don't know quite where I'm going to be, but we'll do a normal episode. Hopefully this episode can go out in audio or video or both or somewhere, who knows, but we'll get something out. And I suppose, thank you everyone for listening.
Yes, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Enjoy yourself out in sunny California.
Same to you in Brentwood. See you next time.
See you next week, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye now.